You're good. Go for it.
I welcome you to the Wi-Fi Lunchtime service, your service for revisiting fellowship and inner life mastery. I encourage you to allow yourself to partake fully in every aspect of this service and experience growth with us. Relax and take a few deep breaths and allow gratitude and thankfulness to rise within you. Follow with me as I go through these declarations. I am not here. Sacred life is here, glorifying itself as me. This thing called life is conscious of itself, through me, and through all the units of itself. This life, which is the body of the entire universe, is my mother and is also the life of me. And this life supports and promotes itself as me. This one life is awesome, intelligent, animating force. It is the life of the element within which I live. I am spirit, one with the spirit of all life, empowering by life to bring life's supreme purpose into fruition. This life that I live is the life that has come into its own self as me. There is a power beyond me that can handle all things that are beyond me, and it is working for my highest good now. I cannot afford not to be here on earth. I am here for the power that brought itself here as me and constitutes my being, and for itself, what the universe needs to fulfill is here as me, and for me to accomplish it. What the universe does to itself is what is done to me. It supports itself for its own complete good, and so it does to me and through me. I am the life of life that knows itself, promotes and fulfills itself. Now I want to quickly go over our vision. Wi-Fi serves to reveal a divine identity, advocate Christ's culture, and equip humanity for the relevant engagement in life and ministry in an atmosphere of unconditional love, trust, faith, and spiritual power. Our mission is to influence the mindsets change through the revelation of humanity's oneness with the divine and equip individuals with the truth of who they are to the intent of having us firmly grounded to also empower others to be impactful in every sphere of life. Our core values are unconditional love, uplifting spirit, integrity, selflessness, trustworthiness, and tenacious devotion. At Wi-Fi, we believe that all things and all life begins and ends within the triune Godhead, and all of humanity is spiritually included in the love and life that the divine. We also believe that this inclusive relationship is delivered timelessly, sustained and guaranteed by the nature of the Father who fills all things. We equally believe in the urgency to make mankind aware of the good news of their redemption from an inferior expression of life into the most attractive and abundant life possible. I'll now pass on to Pastor Sam.
Thank you, Jay. A mandate to awaken humanity from an inferior state of living. The superior, I feel, has got to a superior expression of the very life unit that is expressing itself as them. Allow your mind to run with this. In the brevity of time, I want you to, as the young man said, close your eyes. Give yourself the permission to feel your breath. I find myself in a place in life where I have accepted that the longer I close my eyes, the more I see. And you're not only seeing with your eyes closed, but you also hear. Also said that I was in the spirit on the Lord's day, and I saw a voice that I will lay me upon my watch, and I will watch to see what he says to me. We watch to not only see, we watch to hear. So what sound are you hearing, even as your inner eye is open? In this time and space called now, you are experiencing your union with that from which you are given. Of which you are a resounding part and can never experience separation. The universal giving us this presence that is never an absence. Feel your union with it. And begin to give thanks. Be grateful for nothing. I'm not asking you to count your blessings or anything like that. Just let gratitude well within you for nothing. I'm grateful for nothing. And see if you can taste this goodness that you are feeling and hearing right now and seeing. The psalmist said, taste and see that the Lord is good. There's a lot hidden in there that we say it without paying attention. Say, taste and see goodness. What a glorious presence. And I can remain here all day. Now allow yourself to enjoy 3 deep cleansing breaths. And at the end of it, permit yourself to engage with consciousness. Amen. Wherever you are watching us or joining in with us, you very much welcome to Lunchtime service at Wi-Fi Wedding Perfect International, your most authentic spiritual empowerment center. Stay connected and grow in us. Go grow with us in love, faith, and purity. In the last 5 weeks, we have been looking at the principle of community building as part of our Way Forward series. The intention is to wrap this up in this session and the next. It's for the benefit of those who are hearing or who are joining in with us for the very first time. Just a bit of a recap of last week or what we have talked about so far in this part of this series. So I'm not sure if Jay, you do us the honors of sharing with us what you've captured last week or what you've learned so far on this series. And Amma can add to that as well. That is if you're still there.
I'm here, but I don't think I could really add much.
Okay, Amma. You're muted.
Hello, everyone. I think we've been talking about principles of community living, and so far we've talked about how people do not owe us any explanation or in my own terms or words, explanation on how they make us feel. They do not owe us apologies and all of that. So, I mean, in summary, we're talking about how we relate with people, in a community, how we live peacefully or well with everyone, people around us, irrespective of the relationship, whether it be husband, wife, siblings, children. Yes, so our expectations from them, we've been talking about how what we should expect from them, which is nothing, if I'm right. Yeah. And everything else is on us. And we talked about communication last week, and the need to, we did ask questions on the need to explain or to be understood. Is there a need to be understood, to make sure the person you're communicating with understands you? Yes, so I believe that's what we've been talking about so far.
Okay. Thank you. I said on the week before last, hammering on the need to release yourself, the need to be understood, just as you said, because it's then and only then will you be available to understand and also be understood. Because when we are consumed with being understood, we lose sight of understanding the other person as well. It becomes our preoccupation. And then that can create confusion. I also highlighted on when we are communicating with people and we are focused, or our obsession is on waiting for our turn to speak as opposed to listening empathetically with a view of understanding where the other person is coming from and then responding rather than reacting to where's the views that we have in light on how their words make us feel. And that's when you were part of a conversation, and when it's your turn to speak, because you're only focused on waiting your turn to speak, everything you're saying is totally out of sync with what is being discussed, and then it creates unnecessary hassle. It creates confusion. And what that does is it makes you yourself unavailable to be heard and also be understood. Because you'll be talking and the other will be thinking, where are you coming from? If you're paying attention to what I'm saying, we wouldn't even be here. And then it becomes a spiral of everyone trying to prove a point and justify their point, and it doesn't help, it doesn't get in. So needing to be understood makes you unavailable to understand as well. So it's important for us to release ourselves of that need. We also talked about the releasing ourselves of the need to be pleased, in that no one can please you. And often when we are pleased, it's because we have accepted the offer of another person's best. And indeed, it's your acceptance that pleases you more than what you're being offered. The fact that you accept what is on offer is what pleases you, not necessarily what is being done for you or to you per time. And I did indicate that we are a field of infinite frequencies, and at any time and in any given situation, it is your call to find out what frequency. It's your call to find out what frequency you need to be in order to relate with with the other person. And it's something that I've come to find very useful. So the moment I've said this over time, that no conversation, no interaction rises above the temperature of its very first 3 minutes. If after 5 minutes you can't make sense, probably leave it and try again. But what I'm learning over time, over the last few months, weeks, is how to position myself in a way to identify, okay, what frequency do I need to operate on in order to engage seamlessly, or with the least friction, or with the least disturbance or disruption with the person per time. And I've realized that it works a treat. Okay. And I was sharing with you, in addition to me asking myself routinely what in me is experiencing this discomfort, what in me is not comfortable with this, what in me is reacting to this, I have added to it that I am tuning myself to be pleased. And I've realized the instance I matter that subconsciously, it is difficult for me to stay upset. It's difficult for me or it becomes difficult to give myself a justification to not be pleased, because I'm making a choice of tuning myself to be pleased. And you will. I have not. It is yet to fail me when I started practicing that. It's yet to fail me, so I know it works. And what that does is it puts you in a space where you are able to reclaim your love. Why is it important? Because think about it, each and every one of these principles that we've talked about, it brings back to love, because love is who you are. Love is your nature, love is your language. And the reclamation of love is the reclamation of energy. Love is the gift of God to us, and we've got to celebrate it. It's not the sweet sentimental feeling that we feel because someone expresses sexual affinity in our direction. That is the deep-seated being that we all are. And I did also say that this beautiful gifted nature often gets disrupted, it gets contaminated, where we put a demand for it to be reciprocated on. The love you feel heals and rejuvenates you. I said that 50,000 times. You are the beneficiary, you are the conduit to which it comes. You cannot give any emotion without it first rattling you. If it is love that you give and you are the conduit, you will feel it. If it's hatred, you will feel it. If it's rage, you will feel it. There's no emotion, there's no reaction that you can give to anyone without you experience. You will have a dose of it. So I can't say it's just what it is. Whatever you are giving anyone, you will first feel it. You first feel it. And when we are armed by this, then we ask ourselves, what do I want to feel? You will get a dose of your own medicine. Whatever you dish out, he that waters shall by himself also be watered. And when this dawned on me, that is when I decided to consciously engage with energies and frequencies, or with energies and vibrations which bless me, which honor me, which exalt me, which uplift me, as opposed to that which puts me down or makes me depressed or puts me in low energy. No? You can't hate someone without hating yourself. It's not possible. You can't be angry with someone without being angry with yourself. See? You cannot be upset with anyone without first being upset with yourself. All of these expressions, all of these demonstrations and exhibitions of energy, you feel it first. You feel it first. See? You cannot react violently to anyone without you first experiencing that violence that you're giving out. You will experience it. Even though you might feel justified because you've given it and you feel relieved, later on you realize that it leaves deposits in you and it disrupts you. It disrupts you. So that's why it's important for us to understand that every encounter is every encounter is either adding to your energy or taking away your energy. Most of the time it's taking away your energy. So you choose what you give your energies to, what you donate your energies to. Important. Love is the elixir of life. It heals and it rejuvenates you. We should consider it a blessing when we come across folk or we have the benefit of engaging with people who activate certain love frequencies in us. Because the love we give is our personal possessions, and it never leaves our life. See? It never leaves your life. So I was sharing this with someone over the week. Now, the fact that you feel like you are in a loving relationship with someone doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to result into an erotic, long-standing relationship. We confuse love with relationship. They aren't the same. You require a show of love to have a relationship. But when love is being shared, it doesn't need to end in a sexual or erotic relationship. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Still talking about community building. So you may nurse love for billions of souls around the world. And what that does, it enlarges and it enriches, it enriches you. A friend was telling me he had been divorced for a few years and got back together with their partner. And in conversation, I said this, and I'm like, you realize that how were you feeling during the times that you were feeling better, that during the times that you were feeling that this person has not done well with me, and thoughts of them infuriated you so much? How did it feel? Did it bring you any healing at all? I was like, no. So did you at any point realize that this is, or the feeling of the rage and the disgust, did you at any point realize that it wasn't doing you any good at all? Like, I was too blind to see. I said, yes. Yes, you'll be blind to see. Because it is you now being in a place where this very thing which is supposed to enrich you, the very thing which is supposed to empower you and enhance your being, you have decided to adopt based on you letting an energy that is not commensurate with the high vibration of the love that you are corrupted. And the other person doesn't feel it. You are the one who's feeling it. You are the one getting upset. You are the one destroying yourself. You are the one feeling the pain. You are the one feeling hurt. But we naively sometimes think that by putting ourselves in the space where we are expressing our rage, we are expressing our dissatisfaction, it heals us. It never heals you. It doesn't. It doesn't. Anyway. So, what do I say to that? Be available to enjoy the love that you give away, because the love that you give away is the love that you are, is the love that you keep. And that's what makes you unique in every way. There isn't any other way of saying it. And the truth is, it doesn't need to be reciprocated in any way. Just enjoy and feel the magic of the love that you give. Because we can only, I think it was some guru who said this first time. And when I started to engage with content that I engage with, I realized that it's actually, it's a popular Eastern philosophy. But because of where we find ourselves as Westerners, it sounds foreign to our ears. As in, the Bible will say that, oh, if you love me, do my commandments. So then we stretch it, oh, you love me, so you have to do what I like. You love me, you have to do what makes me happy. You love me, you have to do this. You love me, you have to do this. Then it's no longer about the person, it's about you. See? It's no longer about them. So I love you, so you have to be my slave. No. I have come to accept that you love someone, you release them to be themselves. You release them to be themselves, and you releasing them to be themselves stops you from pretending to yourself. It's not something that you just become. No, it's a conscious, or it's a reality that hits you. And when it hits you, once it hits you, you know that it's kind of fake. And if I love someone and I free them to be themselves, and the person decides that they want to give their attention to someone else, so be it. So be it. It's not slavery. So be it. It's when Jesus was trying to teach disciples this. Peter said that this is a hard saying. Who can accept it? And then he said, impossible.
Sorry, I don't know if it's just me, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you either. No.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So what was the last thing you heard me say? I really don't know what's up with this. With we are in the same space, but my signal appears to be. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
I can't remember, but it looks like you missed the whole paragraph. So
Yeah, people, you just said everything you just said. Well, not everything, but
not
like
everything from beginning.
the bulk of the thing you just said.
No, the last paragraph.
No, the reason I ask is I just want to know what the last statement was that you heard me say, and then I could pick myself from there. That's all.
You were saying something and you laughed, but we couldn't hear. I couldn't hear at all.
So what did you hear before I was saying that thing that I laughed?
I can't remember.
Oh dear, that's difficult. So I don't even know where to start from.
What the last thing you were saying? I've forgotten. It was like you were saying something. You laughed, so I can't remember what. If you remember what it was.
So read the last 30 seconds.
Read
the last 30 seconds of what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I said was, okay. So I said, teaching them love. He asked a question that this is difficult. This must be a difficult saying. And then he says that it looks difficult if I'm talking about when that's in what go check the context of what was being said when that statement was made. And I also did say that we, with a Western persuasion, obviously coming from where the scriptures come from, we would go like, oh, if you love me, do my commandments. Or if you love me, be my slave. If you love me, do what I want you to do. If you love me, do what makes me happy. If you love me, do what I like. If you love me, live your life in a way that pleases me. If you love me, that. If you love me, that. Everything pointing towards us and not liberating the objects of our love. But the longer I live, the more I've embraced the truth. That truer is the fact that when you release the person you love to be him or themselves, it stops you from being a pretender. It puts you in the space of no pretense. And to that I said, if in that development, the person decides to give their attention or to give their focus or to give their supposed love to that, so be it, because they are free to do so. Sometimes when we say this, the assumption is made, okay, so you are trying to say, okay, then straight away our corrupted minds takes love and situate love in the confines of sex. We have been through this over and over again, so I'm not bad. It's only come up because it's part of our discussion on the principle of community building. That's the only reason why it's come up again. Because you love that person to feel good, and you love the person to feel in great joy if a persuasion or a cause they choosing brings them joy, brings them destroy themselves. What can you do? it's I'm not saying that it's an easy teaching. It's not. If it was easy, we wouldn't have rejection. We wouldn't have objections. Yeah, it's a hard thing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You know what? I'm not hearing you. What I need to do? I think I've got a few more things open that I need. Hold on. Let me close some of my apps that are fighting with the bandwidth. And if anyone is on the game, tell them to shut it because is it better?
Yeah.
Is there any question about what's going up until this point? No, I'll try and wrap. I'll try and wrap up. Any question? Any addition? I'll say, give yourself the permission to laugh freely, and do not put any yardsticks or any measurements to it. And feel the goodness of the love you feel and let it honor you. And it's only in that space you will be able to.
I wanted to say something. I don't know if it's a question or a contribution.
Person.
Can you hear me? Okay. I wanted to ask, when you said
yeah, I can hear you.
Love is not slavery. And let's say in a relationship, okay, a couple, and once they come together, okay, I'm using that as an example because that most people would use that as an example. That's where people's emotions are most of the time, are at its highest most of the time. And okay, so if the gentleman, before he got married or before he met this person, is free to, have 1 million people.
This doesn't become another discussion on relationship.
No, I'm saying it based on what you said. That yeah. And I said, and what I'm saying is, okay, so the gentleman, before he got married, obviously has 1 million people. The lady also probably the same situation. They come together. Would you agree that to an extent that freedom is not there anymore? Because you can't be in this relationship and still, have 1 million relationships out there. Do you not agree? It's a question because can you hear me? You're not responding.
I can hear you.
Okay. So if it comes back to the statement that you made that is not leave the person freely. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Don't say respond.
I understand. Yeah.
So do you think it's relevant? The statement is relevant in this scenario?
Does anyone want to answer the question?
You are the one who made the statement, so it's a question.
But it's all of us. There are about how many of us here? Anyone can answer. Anyone can chip in.
Mr. Marie.
I don't know what to say.
Okay. Right. So you see, you have it comes up because that appears to be the one thing that touches a lot of people. It appears.
Yes, that's why I said it's, where our emotions are at its highest.
It appears to be because what about there are other freedoms and there are other liberties. See? But let's pause and ask. I'm going to throw a question back at you. Okay. That have you been able to put a finger on why that liberty, okay, appears to be a trouble spot? Because if we can understand why it appears to be a nervy, like a nervy area, or like say, yeah, when we're talking about that, it appears that we're hitting a raw nerve. If we are able to put our finger on it, maybe we can have the answer to that question, because I believe that the answer is contained in there. It's contained in why or what makes us feel that liberty it's gone, or someone can have that liberty. If we can answer the question of why, then the answer is there. In my opinion, from me having thought about it over the years. See, and I think it's tied to possessiveness. My opinion. So let me also say this. You know that you are at liberty to do something doesn't mean you should exercise that liberty. The choice we make. See? As Paul said that we are at liberty to do all things. We are free to do all things, but not all things are beneficial. You see? And equally true is the fact that a certain level, the dimension of awareness that hits you in a particular space begins to dictate how you move yourself in that space. So for instance, I know that I'm liberty to admire anybody that I want to admire in the world. But that admiration doesn't mean that I should go sleep in the bed. You understand? It's a difference.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do agree. But whilst you're saying it,
so in the same space, when we do understand that, for instance, if every time you feel in quotes loves another, it can only be expressed in sexual engagement, then there's a problem. Then you haven't really evolved, in my opinion. Because you will have billions of people. And if you're going to have to translate all of that into a sexual relationship, then you'll be super fucked. Are you there? Madam Questioner.
I'm here.
No, because I can see your video, so I can see your video, you're muted, so I couldn't tell whether or not you're there. Your
line is.
So I don't know what you wanted to say. I don't know what you're doing. I said you were saying something there, but I couldn't. So basically, what I said was that you love 1 billion people in the world, but if each and every time you are having an experience of love with someone, you translate it into sex, then you are fucked, in essence.
No, that's why I said when that question was specifically for that. It's not all relationship. That question was specifically for relationships. That's why I said like a couple, like husband, wife, kind of relationship. That's what I said. So the fact that the truth is when there are certain things.
And go on, please. I'm listening.
No, ask.
No. You're saying there are certain things. So clearly your statement wasn't complete.
Yeah. So there are certain things, obviously, even though you are at liberty to do in certain relationships, it's wise not to, isn't it? It's wise not to, because irrespective of the fact that we can do whatever we want, or you are at liberty to leave the person to do what they want. Sometimes you even cautioning the person is not holding them back, or there's nothing. If a person wants to do something, they will do it anyway. But love also is being there for the person and letting them know that, look, this route is
taking them into consideration, isn't it? Yeah, or looking for their interests as well. Yeah.
Yes, because at the end of the day, it comes back to when we're talking about this relationship thing and the example I cited. There are also some places that they allowed 4, 5, 6, 10 wives, concubines, whatever. Solomon had 300 wives, 700 concubines. They all lived, if it's what it is, they all lived in the same palace.
That's what that's what we have been told.
Pardon? Yeah, I didn't hear you.
I said that's what we have been told.
Yes, so I'm just using that. At the end of the day, it's also from our perspective or the culture that we come from, what our culture permits.
It's good that you bring in culture, because that's where that's why I was going to go with this as well. But obviously, you have asked, you would have asked, because I said everything with all of these things, context is key.
Yeah.
So, but I understand it from the context that you are coming from. Yeah. Thank you. So I'll say it again. What is love when it can be expressed freely? What is love when it requires measurements? When he says the love of God is shed freely, shed abroad in our hearts by the Spirit that is within us. Allow yourself to feel the goodness of the love you feel and let it honor you. I can't overemphasize that. Why is it, I don't even know if this is even a proper question. When you find yourself in a place where you wanted to be sure that love will be reciprocated before you give or demonstrate love, is that an ideal place? Where you wanted to be sure that the love that you're giving, the love that you're being, will be reciprocated before you give it, or you withdraw love because you're feeling it's not reciprocated. Is that an ideal place?
I don't think so, that you should withdraw. Love is love. If you have love and you're not getting it back. Just be you. Who are you? If you are love, Bible says God is love. You are, if in we're made in his image and likeness. That means we are love as well. So irrespective of what a person is doing to us or whether we're receiving it back or not, that shouldn't change you. It shouldn't change you or change in that, like change who you are. So I believe that you still remain and love as much as you can.
Do we stop ourselves from being the love that we are because we believe we require healing from being hurt in a space of love? So once bitten, twice shy. I've been there, I've experienced this, so I withdraw myself from putting love in this space because I believe I need to heal. I'm asking these questions because I've heard many relationship therapists, many supposed love coaches and love mentors say these things. But over time, and also from experience with people who have been through
Your line is going again.
such counseling, I realize we hold back love in an effort to heal ourselves. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's still not so clear, but yeah, hello?
Did you get my question?
No, so you need to, can you ask it again because it wasn't so clear?
I'm saying that do we hold back love in an effort to heal ourselves when we feel like we've been hurt in the place of love?
If any, the truth is, then you really haven't transcended the flesh. I don't know if is the right word to use, or your feelings, because love goes beyond. If we look at the love of Christ, for instance, I can use that to demonstrate what I'm trying to say. It's beyond pain. It's beyond how he's feeling. It's beyond the hurt people how he's been hurt, by the people he trusted most. And if you look at it that way, so it's same here. He still loved them. He still said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He still, was there for them, irrespective of how he was treated. So if for you the person needs to really transcend the physical, the pain and the things that they are going through from people around them, and still, be themselves and show love, not by removing yourself. All these things are emotions, how you put your emotions and your feelings, how how do you do it, how you interpret it to yourself. So if you're able to interpret these things going on around you in a good way, you'll be all right, irrespective of the hate or removing yourself and all of that. Irrespective of all of that, you still, be yourself and love as you ought to. That's how I see it.
Anymore? Mary's still here. Okay.
Cheers.
All right. Because I haven't had a finish.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. Have you got anything to chip in?
No.
Okay. Well, I think it's one that I want us to think of. I mean, every morning when I open my eyes and I feel my heart, put my hand on my chest, or where I believe my heart is. I have two hearts, by the way. That's been found out. And then I say, love that I am, expand and extend to touch the center of the universe. And the feeling that I get, I love it. I can only say, why is it important for us to all of what we've said, everything that we will share in these principles that we are learning, they will all hinge on this one thing, love. There's no getting away from it. I want you to, for just 2 or so minutes, if you want to close your eyes if need be, and think on, or allow yourself to remember instances, as many as you can in 2-3 minutes, where you have felt misunderstood, where you have felt a need to be understood, and when that need wasn't fed, or when that demand didn't materialize, it left you in pain, it left you in disappointment, it left you in misery. Allow yourself to have a cup or a recap of any such instances. And the reason for this is very simple. Circumstances arise which leave us building cuts over time. When we don't acknowledge these and deal with them, they just sit in the back and subconsciously deal with us without us realizing it. So most of the tantrums we throw as adults are often tied to moments of disappointment, disdain, rejection, particularly, which is something that we deal with next week, which we felt as kids, where we felt that our needs weren't attended to, where we felt that our expectations weren't met, and we wrapped pain or certain elements or certain degrees of pain around, and they follow us. So every time a situation rears its head that has a semblance of that instance, we unconsciously expect the same feeling, the same reaction, and then we throw tantrum. Allow yourself to identify as many of these as you can in the next 2 minutes. And I want you to boldly affirm with conviction that I release myself from the pain of every moment wherein I felt misunderstood. And step into this freedom of being released Oh, shalom and life to us. Bye-bye.